Welcome to this series of training videos, Compliments of District 84. Today, our presenter, George Hazard, will share with us the roles, responsibilities, and resources for being a successful club treasurer. This session was presented at the District 84 Virtual Toastmasters Leadership Institute on July 18, 2020.
Tom Peters wrote the book In Search of Excellence, and it's about looking at the best corporations in America and then figuring out what they're doing right. Well, he said if you find an organization that's doing well, you should not necessarily copy, but adapt what they're doing and bring that into your organization. I copied this or absconded with some stuff from Guy Dawson. He's a Toastmaster over in District 33, but he gave a webinar. And it was, I thought, pretty good. So you're going to see some of those things in this one. Well, let's get started. We're talking about the roles and responsibilities. First, financial responsibility. Mr. Dawson called that fiduciary responsibility. What it really means is you're going to take care of the monies for the club. And you're going to get to manage a bank account and payment of maybe some bills. We don't often write any bills out. But there are 2 points that you will be paying attention to, and that's the deposit of those dues to the bank. So what you're going to be doing is collecting the monies from the members and getting those to the bank. And then once you get it to the bank, then you're going to pay the dues to Toastmasters International. And those are the 2 biggest things that you might be doing for Toastmasters as your role as treasurer. But let's look at all of the things we're going to cover today. Of course, I already mentioned dues because it's a big item. And then we'll talk about bank accounts and getting them set up or things that you might be needing to do soon. Of course, then the club payments. How are we getting our monies in from our members, whether it be dues or local dues? And then we'll talk about budgeting. What are we going to do with all that money? Not that much. And then we're going to talk about spending those monies in the right and proper way. And then we're going to talk about reporting, how we're going to report out this to our club as well as our executive team. Well, let's talk about dues and why they are important. Well, first off, there's 2 important dates. And that's October 1st and April 1st. Those are the dates that our monies need to be into Toastmasters International. Knowing that, though, we can back off 45 days to August 15th and February 15th. Those 2 dates are the dates that we generally start sending out invoices reminding members that it's time to renew. So we need to start 45 days early before it's time. So you as treasurer, you're going to head that up and you'll work with the VP of membership to make sure that we can get as many people renewed as possible. Now renewal is $45. Except sometimes we have club fees. And if you just remember it's $7.50 a month, then it's easy to calculate the international dues. The reason I'm bringing this up is so that you can get everything done before April 1st and October 1st. Because what's going to happen is if we're not timely in getting our dues in or from the members, what happens is that during a club contest period, if they're in a club contest or trying to go on to the area contest, they become ineligible if we, as treasurers, haven't submitted their dues for them. Or the same with a club. A club becomes ineligible if we haven't submitted at least the 8 minimum membership dues on the first or of either one of these months. So that's why we have to get started on it early. Now, as I said, you and your vice president of membership can work together and should work together to bring back as many renewals as you can. Now, I don't know if you've done this before. where you submit the dues at Toastmasters International. But I'm telling you, it's super easy, it's very straightforward. You go to Club Central and then just migrate over to add a new member or pay club dues, and you'll see that you can pay each and every one of your members easily. I wanted to show you this. This is from the application itself, and you can see here that, let's say somebody joins this month. So their monthly, it's $7.50 a month, but it's prorated. So it's from the day or the month that they start. So let's say somebody starts in July. We can see here on this form that it's $22.50. And plus, if they're a new member, it's a $20 new member fee. So it would be $44.50. You, of all people, need to be able to quickly calculate this for our members or new members particularly to see how it works. And then let's see, I hope you can see this. There's a place for club dues. Most clubs charge $1 a month, so it generally is $6, but it can vary very widely by club of how much dues they're going to be doing. Now, let's talk about those things that you should be doing perhaps this month as a treasurer coming in, a new treasurer. What I'm talking about with the bank account, you need to make sure that you're on the signature card as well as some others. Now, it happens, I guess, repeatedly in other clubs where if there's only one person on the club and something happens to them, they move away, anything could happen. We all know that. So we need to have more than one person on that signature card. One of the clubs I belonged in, we had 4 people on the signature card. And you want to keep it updated. Just recently I heard of a club that had not seen one member on the signature card for 7 years. So you want to keep it updated, and this is the best time to go do it. Now I also have on here to review it monthly from the bank. It turns out that it's much easier to work with the bank if you call them right away if there's any discrepancies. If you wait until the end of your term, like next June, then it's much more difficult to make things happen with them. So just stay on top of it, just review it monthly. And one other thing that you could and perhaps should do this month is talk to the outgoing treasurer and find out what they really thought was working well and what things they would suggest to you that you change or do differently. So consider those things. Now, there are some clubs that don't have a bank account yet. I'm in a new club, and the new club doesn't have a bank account yet. So I need to get a bank, but at the same time, I want to find a bank that doesn't charge a monthly fee. Now, one of the most important things that you're going to get with this bank is the debit card. Because you want to have a debit card because it makes it so very easy to pay the members' dues. As they come into our bank, your bank, then easily you can just use that bank credit card to pay Toastmasters International. But now that you have a bank account, then what do? How do you get the monies from the members? And you can see here, this is what some other clubs have already done, and they're using PayPal and Venmo and Square and Zelle, and some are just using checks. But did you know that only 18% of all millennials write checks anymore? And the number's much higher with, what do you call us? Baby boomers. But it behooves us to get this set up to make sure that it's all working well. I found that other clubs tend to just, if there's a PayPal fee, then the other club will absorb that fee. Now, some clubs will take and increase their local dues a little bit to compensate for that if there's a problem with having enough money in the bank account. Now, I have been able to find on the internet this step-by-step guide for using PayPal and Toastmasters. So if you would like a copy of that, well, let's say you use PayPal to get it all set up. Let me show you what another club, I found a California club that's using PayPal. And you can see right here that this is for renewing members, not new members. But a renewing member, all they have to do is find their name on the drop down that would appear right here. And then it'll show their $45 renewal. But you can see over here, they charge a local fee, so the total for them is $60. And note, I'm trying to show you on my screen, but note on the screen right here that it shows $2.10 of that $60 is going for the PayPal fee that's being charged. So there's ways of making this work. And once you have this set up, it's so easy for renewing members to stay with the club. They can't say they couldn't get in contact with you. It's easy just to go to the free Toast website. Guy Dawson from District 33 said that we really should look at the budget in a 6-month term instead of a yearly term, because we all know that every 6 months we unfortunately lose some people on renewal time. Yes, we gain people back. That's what we strive for after that. But if you get your renewals, just look at how many you get for renewals, then you have a good understanding of what your top, how much money is available for expenditures. For instance, calculate your budget. Let's say your club is doing well and you charge $1 a month. So and you have 20 members that renew. So you have your 20 times the $1 a month times 6 months, that's $120. So therefore, you know what your bottom line is on how much money is available for expenditures. Now, what can you spend the money on? We're talking about the local club dues. Of course, you do dues for TI, but at the same time, you want to buy ribbons and certificates or all the other things for when we're in our physical location. You want to have those back in there too. So you want to have a little buffer, but not too much. Now, Guy Dawson from District 33 suggests that we have $500 or less in our bank account. He suggests if it gets beyond that, then try to trim it back, not by spending money, but perhaps by local club dues suspended for a period of 6 months. So that way the monies come right back down. Now, you don't have to come up with all of the budget yourself. You can do the top line easy enough, but you're going to work with your executive team to figure out what you're going to spend that money on. Now, what should you spend that money on? I know you see it right here, but we're going to look at it one more time. So what we're charged with doing is trying to spend this money on educational purposes. So you can see ribbons or lecterns or signage, anything to help promote that club. And of course, there are some clubs that have rental fees. I came across a club in California that they have 55 members, but they're charging an additional local club dues of $45 every 6 months because they have a gigantic rental fee that they're having to pay. And of course, you can use the dues for club open houses. Now, I said open houses because I remember in one of the TLIs I went to, they had a club that was buying coffee and donuts every week. And that isn't the intent. It's for educational purposes. And you can see here some of the things that we don't use it for, even though a worthy cause might be a good thing. Unfortunately, under our setup, we just can't do that. But I want you to remember, here's the main thing. Remember, we are a not-for-profit club for educational purposes. So you, as treasurer, if you just remember that, then that's good guidance on what is right and proper for the club to be following. If you brought these 3 things, the bank statement, the expenditures, and any new members to the club because each new member reflects an increase in the amount of money in your local account. And the bank statement shows out how much is going out and anything you might have purchased from TI or other expenditures. That's basically all you need to have at one of your executive meetings. If you have that, you're providing a report that is more than adequate. Now, in the Toastmasters handbook, you see this right here. Sometimes somebody will ask you for an audit, but if you pull together these things for an audit, you can do that. But audits don't have to be with a firm or anything like that. Guy Dawson suggests that you get a Toastmaster of the club that's a longtime member, and then have them just review your material, your statements, and that will do just fine for an audit of a club. At the club level, we don't have to get too intense. Work with the executive team in preparing the budget, so you all know what's doing with that. You've got those 3 reports, but I'm trying to get you to keep it simple for them as well as the club. But what happens is sometimes you want to make it simple for them, but they want to know that the money is in there and you're taking good care of it. Oh, by the way, Zig Ziglar said the men in the audience usually like that joke better. But you are an important part of the team. And I do mean that. Going back to Tom Peters, he said, what gets measured gets done. And that was true. That is true in business, but I believe it's true in Toastmasters. So if you're able to encourage your team to hold monthly meetings, because if you're able to do that, then you're much better able to move forward and have this club of yours be an absolute great club. Have your reports ready to go. Have your ideas ready to go. And when you do that, you'll be better able to serve the executive committee as well as your club. And I do mean your club, because you want to present to your club an enthusiastic presentation of what you do to your committee. So then that way, when it's time to find a replacement for you, maybe next June or even December, people will jump at the opportunity. So what I'm asking you to do is to be a player on this team. And by being a player on this team, you'll be able to lead, show people how to be a treasurer, and you will be able to show people how to be a better leader. Okay, so you see right here, in fact, you should have administrative duties on here also as the treasurer. I hope you get those. In fact, I'm going to take you to the administrative console, and this is why I want you to see this, because this pertains to you. Now, I'm going to do this little drop down right here. I'm going to go down to dues management. See that? Now, down here in dues management, this is for Hunters Creek, that you can see everything is all set up for us. The actual address, but even more than that, you can see down here, it's all set up for sending out reminders. It's just perfect, ready to go, and you can send them out in one fell swoop on August 15th and February 15th, right? But let me show you a little more. Here's a little preview of what the invoice looks like, and it will fill in the name for you. Toastmasters International dues on here, and built right into it is the local club dues. So it makes it very nice. Now, here's another button where you can go and as people pay their monies, you can check it off. So you can even say how they did it. And then finally over here, you can do follow-ups to all those that haven't paid. But I'm hoping that you'll take advantage of this. It really is a great asset to have It makes life so much easier. So the debit card makes life easier for the bank account. Doing your monthly meetings gets life easier. And then having this with your reminders, that really helps also.